warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I welcome you all in the online MUS classroom. And my name is Anjum Zahra, and I teach MUS Book 1 every Monday from 6 to 7 p.m. I would like to welcome all the students who have joined us for the first time. And I would also like to say welcome back to those students who had been with me in the past lesson as well. So inshallah, you will get lots of benefits from this class, and you will learn a lot about our religion, which is Islam. So let's start our lesson with a quick reminder that just to keep your microphones on mute during the whole lesson. But if I ask you any questions and you know the answer, you are welcome to raise your hands, and then I can pick you up, and then you can unmute the microphone to reply. So let's start our lesson now. So first of all, we will have a quick review about the rules for online class. And then in the resources that you need a pen and a notebook just to make quick notes of all the things that we'll be covering in this class. And we will also have a quick review of the last week for those children or students who couldn't join us. Inshallah, they will be catching up with us. And in today's lesson, in the Aqaid first part, which is the first half of the lesson, we will be talking about who is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in the second part of the lesson, we will be talking about Fiqh, which is our Islamic laws and rulings, which we have to follow. And in that, we will be talking about Salah. We have covered bits of the Salah in the last lesson as well, but we will be covering that in much more detail in today's lesson. And then we will have, in the end, we will have a reflection about what we have achieved or what we have learned from the lesson. And then at the end, we will have a quiz for you to think about. Could be a poll or a quiz. And it will have all the questions that you have to think about over the week's time, and then come back with your answers. So what are the rules for online classroom? You have to be punctual, which is very good. I see lots of students had been on time, which is great. MashaAllah, and be prepared. Also listen carefully and follow the instructions, and keep your microphones to mute, make notes in your notebook, and do your homework. So make sure whatever the homework has been given, you complete that before coming into the classroom. So let's start our lesson, and what we do before starting our lesson, we make a dua. So let's read the dua. You have to join me. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi, so you can join me as well. Zidni ilma, my Lord, increase me in knowledge. Inshallah.
Hello.
So a quick review from the last lesson. What we did in the last lesson, in the Aqaid, as you all know that the first part of the lesson, in the first part of the lesson, we talk about Aqaid, and in Aqaid we did the last week about we as Muslims and our religion is Islam, and what are the good things that the Muslims should do and what are the bad things that Muslims should not do. We also had covered a story about Salam and Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Also, in our Fiqh section of the lesson, we talked about our prayers, how many prayers are there, what time do we have to read them, and that the Salah is also, there was a hadith that we covered, and it said that the Salah is the key to heaven. And there was a quiz for you last week. If you remember, those students who had been present, there were a few questions that I asked you to prepare, and inshallah I'll be asking you those questions today. So I'll ask you a question. If you know the answer, just raise your hand, and then I'll pick you up, and then you can unmute your microphone to answer. So the first question was, what good things Muslims should do? Can anybody raise their hand? Okay, so 2 participants have raised their hands. You can unmute your... Yeah, so come on, go ahead. I can't see your name here, actually. Okay, so what good things Muslims should do?
We should give namaz and do Salah.
Yes, and
we should listen to our parents.
Ahsan, mashallah, very nice. What's your name?
Tasbih.
Mashallah, very nice. That's correct. Well done. So you remembered the last lesson that very done. Very good. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Okay, let's move to the next question. What bad things Muslims should not do? Anyone wants to answer?
Stealing. No stealing. They should not.
They should not?
No stealing. We should not listen to
Only one choice.
They should not drink alcohol.
Yes, we should not drink alcohol and
Don't tell a lie.
Okay, Marsha, lots of hands raised. We can do that. Okay, that's fine. You can go back to mute. We will move on to so that we can move on to the next question. Because
We should not curse.
yes, we should not push. That's a very good answer. Very nice. Okay. So now the next question was.
We should not.
Yeah. Okay. I think next thing is I will pick a random child and I'll unmute the child and then I'll ask from them. Okay. So you all keep your microphones to mute so that I give someone a chance to speak. And the next question is, what does the word Salah mean? So can Bashir Marji, if you can unmute your microphone, please. If you can answer this question. Or, okay, Ehsan Naqvi. Okay, and Ehsan Naqvi, can you tell me what does the word Salam mean?
Zishan, his name is Zishan, not Hassan.
Okay.
Sorry, because my name's Ehsan, I'm his father, so my child's name is Ishan.
Okay, Ishal. So Ishal, do you know what does this word Salam mean? Salam. Okay, if I give you three options. Does the Salam mean hello? Or Salam means hi? Or Salam mean peace?
Peace.
Oh, Alhamdulillah, mashallah, very nice. How old are you, Ishal?
5.
Okay, mashallah. So good reply and good answer as well. Okay, you can go back to mute now. Let's go to the next question. When should we say Bismillah? So if I ask, anyone wants to reply in the chat, you can also write your answers in the chat if you like. So when should we say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim? So Shahzain Kazmi is asking me to ask me. Okay, Shahzain Kazmi, can you tell me when should we say Bismillah? We should say Bismillah before anything. MashaAllah, I've got lots of answers here. I can see. So well done, all of you who had been preparing these questions. So let's move on to our today's lesson. Okay, so today's lesson, in the first part, in Aqaid's part, we will be talking about who is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, as we all know that Aqaid are the beliefs or the things that we believe in. So as Muslims, we all believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us and he is our creator. So we will be talking about that in much more detail in the first half part of the lesson. And in the second part of the lesson, we will be talking about Salah in our Fiqh section or Islamic law section. So coming back to our first part, Aqaids, who is Allah? Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator. Now creator is someone who creates things. So we believe, it's our belief as Muslims that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our creator. He has created us. We do not believe that we just came into this world by ourselves and there was no one who has created us. Rather, we believe that there is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has actually created us. And in Arabic, we call him as Al-Khaliq. Now, Al-Khaliq is one of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well. Just like maybe some of you will have many names. Maybe some of you will have 2 names, 3 names. Similarly, Allah has 99 names. There are 99 names of Allah. Okay, and one of his names is Al-Khaliq, and Al-Khaliq means the creator. Also, we will be talking about Allah as the generous, that he is Al-Kareem, and Al-Kareem means the generous. Now, who is generous? The generous. Generous means someone who gives in plenty, who gives a lots of things, who gives a lots of blessings. Now, coming back to our first part of the lesson, where we say Allah is Al-Khaliq, or he is the creator, then we look at the things that he has created. Okay, first of all, if we look at our own self, we see that there are so many things in our own self, in our face, in our body, which is created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like our eyes to see, we have eyes to see from, we have a nose to smell from. Allah has given us hands, legs to walk. If we just imagine, if we have no legs, we won't be able to walk. So this is such a great blessing which is given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to us. So we believe as Muslims that Allah is the creator, or he is, or Khaliq, he is the Al-Khaliq, he has created us. And this is also mentioned in the Quran as well, where Allah says in the Quran, in Surah 6, Al-An'am, that La ilaha illahu khaliqu kulli shay'in fa'budu. There is no God but he. What does that mean? That means there is only one God, the creator of all things. Now see this word, the creator, this is mentioned in the Quran as well. So then what does the verse say ahead? So worship him means we need to obey him because he is the creator, he has created us. So in return, we need to make sure that we follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in our actions. We just obey him and we listen to whatever Allah says to us. Just like I give you an example. Can you see the Legos in the picture? Okay. I'm sure some of you love Legos because I love Legos myself. Okay, what happens sometimes if you create something with the Legos, let's say you make a house, you build a house or something, and if I ask you, who built that? Who created that? What would you say? You would say, I created this, I made this. Would you rather say that nobody created it, it just got created itself, the Legos pieces, they just got joined together and then made a house? Would you say that? No. You will say that you created it, just like you create a Lego piece or you make something and then you own it, that you have created it, or you are the creator of a small Lego image or a Lego design. Similarly, how can we imagine that we are being created into this world without any creator? I mean, we have just came into this world without any creator. It's not possible, isn't it? So that makes us think and to imagine that, that makes us ponder further that there is someone who has created us, because nothing can just get created on its own. So this strongly makes us believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us, just like we create something and then we own it. And not only Allah has created us, but if we look around us, there are so many other things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created. For example, can you see the picture of a star? That's created by Allah. Similarly, there's an animal, which is a horse. It's created by Allah. Earth, the planet we are living on. Also the sun, birds, flowers. But, hang on, there's a picture of an ice cream. What do you think about that? Would Allah be creating that? No. The ice cream is, there's a deeper thinking into this. The ice cream is created by human beings, just like you and me. But the things that are being used in making ice cream are actually created by Allah. For example, your mom's cooked the dinner, yeah? She cooks the dinner. But the things that she put in the dinner, maybe she's using some vegetables, maybe she's using tomatoes, onions, or maybe she's using meat. Now, meat comes from animals. And who has created animals? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we indirectly say that these some things are man-made, but while they are making something, the things that they are using are actually created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So ice cream similarly is created by human beings, but maybe the things that they are using is actually the source is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we learned that Allah is the creator, and in Arabic we call that Al-Khaliq. Also Allah is Al-Kareem. Now Al-Kareem means the generous. Now who is generous? Generous is something who gives you in plenty, more than of your expectation. You know, sometimes you buy a pack of sweets and it's really your favorite. And some other child is really looking at your pack of sweets and wants some. But what you do, you give him the whole pack of sweets. Now, if there's an adult looking around and watching you, he would say, wow, you're such a generous boy or girl, that rather than giving your friend one sweet, you gave him the whole pack. So that's one example of you being as generous. So similarly, if you look at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we believe that He has given us so many blessings that we should be thankful for. And if we want to count them, we cannot count them on our fingers because there's so many, they're countless. Okay, so that's why we say that Allah is Al-Kareem, means He is generous and His blessings are many. And He also gives without any condition, means if sometimes you're not listening to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, maybe you are not doing something good that Allah has asked you to do. Maybe you're doing something bad that you should not do. But would Allah stop giving you food and water? No, He's still giving you these things. Okay, that means that He is Al-Kareem. He's giving you even when you are not doing the things that you are supposed to do. And there are still some children who are scribbling on the screen. Okay, and make sure you don't scribble on the screen and listen quietly. So if we talk about the Allah's blessings in different settings, let's say if we talk about His blessings or things that He has given us in our house, can you look around and see the things that He has created? Do we drink water all the time? What will happen if there is no water in the house? We won't be able to drink any. We'll be so thirsty, we probably will die with the thirst. Also, if there is no water, we won't be able to keep ourselves clean. We won't be able to wash our hands. So this is one example of the blessing that we find in our house. Also our family, our brothers, sisters, our mom, dad, family. These are all the blessings that Allah has given us. So we should always be thankful for Him. Also, if we talk about our face, body, we see in our face, there are so many things, our eyes, nose, our taste buds, we taste so many yummy foods, different type of foods, we listen with our ears, we can walk with our legs. So if you look around our face and body, we find that there are so many things that Allah has created for us, for our own comfort. And similarly, I know you all love to go to the park, don't you? I do, but not in this time. Normally, I like to go and have a walk in the park. So have you ever wandered and looked around in the park? There are so many things. Have you ever looked at the sky, clouds, the grass you play on? Not the rides, but I mean, it's fun to go on the rides, but rides are not actually created by Allah. Rather, the trees you see, the grass you see, the sky, the sun that's shining above you. Also, what else do you see in the park? The animals. Some people have got pets. Those pets are created by Allah. Also, you see clouds. Sometimes it's raining. We're lucky it's not rain today, but sometimes it's raining when you go to the playground. The rain is created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sometimes there's a strong wind in the park. So these are all the blessings. Sometimes we really enjoy these things, don't we? So these are the blessings in the park. Also, if you go to the mosque, I mean, we can't go to the mosque these days. I know you must be missing going to the mosque, but there are so many things in the mosque, just like we use the water for wuzu. We have a Quran in the mosque, which we love to read in the Ramadan is coming as well. And which is a book of Allah, and it is created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well. So we see lots of people over there, which Allah has created. So these are children, these are all the blessings that we should always be looking around and reflecting on. These means noticing these things, not just going outside and not considering that there's so much beauty around us, which is actually created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And these blessings are all already mentioned in the Quran as well, in the form of favors. Okay, so what Allah says, Hada min fadli Rabbi, means this is all from the favors of my Lord. Like whatever blessings you are seeing in your surroundings are actually from your Lord, means they are created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So let's have a story time now, and that will tell us about that Allah is everywhere. Okay, now there was a child, just like some of you probably think the same. When this child was younger, he used to believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala lives in a house in the sky. So he thought that Allah can only be at one place at a time and cannot be everywhere. So he thought that probably Allah lives somewhere in the sky, and he wanted to go up, climb up the ladder and want to meet him. So when he reached at the top of the ladder, he couldn't find Allah. And then he came to know that Allah does not live in the sky. He lives everywhere. And it also made him believe that Allah is not only on earth, but he is also with the moon, stars, and he is everywhere on earth. Wherever you go, basically, Allah will be with you, and you can never hide from Allah. Even if you go to the deepest sea and the bottom of the sea with all the fish and all the sea creatures, you will find Allah over there as well. And he will also be at the top of the mountains, in the valleys, forest. Just like, you see the sunshine, you can't see those sun rays, but you're getting the benefit, you're getting that sunshine. Similarly, Allah is everywhere, every corner of the universe, every corner of this world. We can't see him because he does not have a body like us, but he is around us, just like the wind and just like the sunshine. Also, he is not only in the mosque, but also at our home. Right now, when we are doing this class, and we are behaving as very good children and listening to the lesson very quietly and in a well-mannered way, Allah is also watching us, and he's also listening to us. And so he's basically everywhere. So what we should do, we should look around, look at these birds, fruits and trees, when we smell some flowers, and if we have any parrot or any pet in the house, everything should make us remember Allah. That whenever we see these things, we should remember that this is Allah's creature and he is with us wherever we go. Okay, even if we go to if some of you would like to be astronauts and plan to go to the moon or to the space, don't ever imagine that Allah won't be there. He would be there as well. Okay, so even if you go to this in a spaceship and go to space or moon, Allah is going to be there as well. Even when you write now, like I told you, if you're reading a book or if you're making notes and you're behaving nicely, listening to your mom and dad and sitting quietly, Allah is with you here as well. Okay, and also when we see these little chicks that come from an egg, they are also made by Allah. Don't they look so cute? Okay, now let's move on to another story, which is just like you and me are in a classroom. There was a teacher whose name was Mrs. Layla, and she had some lovely students like all of you. And she gave one apple to each of the students. And she said to them that go and hide to a very hiding secret place where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala won't be able to see you, and eat your apple over there. Okay, so some of the silly children who thought that probably Allah won't be looking at them if they will hide behind the curtain or if they will go under the desk, they just hid there and then they start eating their apple. But there was one little girl, Alia, who she used to believe that we cannot hide from Allah. He will be everywhere, wherever we will go. So she didn't eat her apple and she was just sitting down quietly. So when the game was over and the teacher asked some of the students that where did they hide and was the apple yummy? Then one of the students whose name was Zahra, she said, yes, I hid under the desk and my apple was sweet and yummy. So she believed that probably if she hide under the desk, Allah won't be able to see her. But then the teacher asked the student Alia that, why didn't you eat your apple? She said, she had a very nice answer and very wise answer as well. She said, I could not eat my apple because I believe that Allah would be able to see me wherever I will hide. So see, she had such a strong belief that we cannot hide from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that means, so obviously the teacher was amazed to see her wise answer. And she said, mashallah, that's correct. And that makes us think that we should not be doing any bad thing, because we know that Allah is watching us wherever we go, because He's everywhere, He's watching us. Okay, so as good children, we should always be doing good things. Okay, so now there's going to be a very interesting activity time, and you're not supposed to do this activity right now, but what I want you to do is just watch this activity very quietly and peacefully with your mom and dad. And when this class will be over, this lesson will be available on the Majlis-e Ulama-e Shia Europe YouTube channel. So you can just click on that YouTube link over there in the YouTube page, and then you can play the video again and can watch the activity, and then you can then follow the activity with your mom and dad when you will have the resources. And also then you will be uploading your activity on the Class Dojo app, which I will be telling you about at the end of the lesson. Okay, so let's watch the activity together. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear children. Today we will be carrying out a very interesting activity. Look who is with me. Squawky is here with me, and Squawky loves arty things. That's why he wanted to stay with me in this art activity as well.
art.
Oh, good. So Squawky, what are we going to do today?
Today we're gonna make a dua book.
Oh, interesting, dear children. We are going to make a dua book today. So that's the things you need are some paper, some pencil, scissor, and some colored markers, or you can also use colored pencils, and a puncher, also a small string or ribbon. All what you need to do is you need 2 or 3 plain papers, okay? And I'm going to fold the paper into half. Squawky, you're very quiet today, okay?
I'm feeling very tired.
Okay, so first of all, I've folded to half. I'll keep the crease line on this side of my hand, and I'm going to draw my hand. I'm going to draw the hand in such a way that my wrist should come in the paper as well. So I will be keeping my little finger next to the crease line. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm going to draw
Around.
my hand with the,
Woohoo!
as you can see.
About all the lessons you have learned, you can put it in the book.
Yes, absolutely. So
Beautiful.
all the lessons that we are actually doing every week, we will have a very big dua book for every week that we are learning something here. Make sure that you, because if I open it, this is something I will get. But here, if you see, I just need to, yes, so I just need to make a little cut on this side so that it will show me that I'm doing a dua hand.
What we made.
Oh, this is the Squawky make. Look at that, this guys. This is how the Squawky has made the dua book. Exactly. And he still has to write a lot of things in it. These are the things that the pages that he's still thinking. So this one is yeah, so this one's talk about the Alhamdulillah. And this one. Very good, Squawky. Well done. Okay, so now we've got this hand. We're going to just make a slight hole with the puncher, or if you don't have the puncher, that's fine. You can just use anything else. And then, example, what we did last week. What did we do, Squawky? That we are good Muslims, and good Muslims do lots of good things. Okay?
Good things to
Do good things. Okay?
You can write them in any color you want.
Yes, you can write them. And then you can just write all the good things that Muslims should do. So these are the good things that I have made my book's first page about. You can do other things. For example, you can have another page. Yeah. So the first title, you can write my first dua book, okay? So now similarly, every week when you are learning about more and more, what you can do is you can fold another paper for the next week. And then, yes, and then you can just put it on the same hand again, and then you can just cut it out. Yes, and I'm going to just put it inside there. Put the ribbon in. You can write my first dua book. You can write my first dua book, and then when you will open it, you will have a page. So what good things Muslims should do. You can also make one for talking about the blessings. What blessings we have done? Say Alhamdulillah. So we will be one making for the blessings. So as you can see, this week we are talking about the blessings that Allah has created for us, and in that I have just written Alhamdulillah. If you are very good in Arabic, or mom or dad can write in Arabic, and you can write Alhamdulillah in Arabic as well. And then the things that Allah has created, such as stars, moon, so you can mention all those in your hand for this week. And for the last week that we did was all about the Muslims do good things. So we mentioned all the good things that we as Muslims do. So far, since this was our second lesson, so we did the 2 pages of the book, and we had a little ribbon just on the corner, so that every week when we learn about something new, we can add a new hand into it, okay? And in this way, there will be a lot of pages in our book, and then we can finally make it a dua book. Or you can write at the front as my first dua book, and then you can open it. Also, if you're learning something new, a new dua, then you can also write about that dua as well here. And so this is all for today. This is a new activity. I hope you will try it now. And let's go back to our lesson now. Assalamu alaikum. So dear children, that was the activity, which I want you to definitely carry out at your own comfort time, because the lesson will be available on the YouTube channel, on the Majlis-e Ulama Shia Europe YouTube channel. So you can just go and watch it again and then carry out the activity. So now coming back to our second part of the lesson, which is fiqh. And what we mentioned last time, that fiqh are basically the Islamic laws or the rulings that are provided by our religion and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in that we will be talking further about Salah, which is prayer, or in other languages we say namaz as well. Okay. Now what is Salah? Salah is basically a way of talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just like we talk to our parents, our siblings, brother and sister. Similarly, we should always remember to talk to our creator, the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has created us, who has brought us into this world as well. Okay, so there are many ways to talk to Allah. It's not just that you will be on your prayer mat and then you will be talking to Allah, but whatever you are doing in your life, wherever you are going, and always keeping in check that Allah is watching you, and always you do the good deeds and good actions, and that means that in that way you are connected to your Allah. And also when you are eating, you're saying Bismillah before starting, you're saying Salam to your fellow Muslims, and you are also offering your prayers at the right times. Then it will be providing you a key to heaven, which is beautiful, and which is also an hadith from the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, that Salah is the key to heaven, and that we also discussed in our first lesson, that just like an unlocked door, you need a key. Similarly, going to heaven, you need a key as well, and the key is the Salah. And we also discussed that there are different timings for Salah, and it's best to offer your Salah at the first time, and you should not delay it. So for the Fajr, you should be making it a priority to read it before dawn, otherwise it will be a qaza. And for we have got 5 prayers. First of all, just to remind you, how many prayers a day we should be offering? 5. Okay, so we got Fajr, Zohar, Asr, Maghrib, Isha. Okay, so 5 prayers a day. We have got Fajr, Zohar, Asr, Maghrib, and then Isha. Okay, so when we talk about their timing, we say that the Fajr we should read before dawn. Okay, then when it's still a little bit dark and then it's not bright. And Zohar, Asr, we read together, and we read around the noon time. And Maghrib Isha, similarly, we read also together, and we read after the sunset. Okay. And now it is very important for you, because there will be some quiz questions. I'm just giving you the answers or just the clues in advance so that you pay attention to the slide, that there are 5 salahs that we have to read every day, and you should be knowing their names. Okay. So I'll ask your mom and dad to make sure to revise those names with you. They are Fajr, Zohar, Asr, Maghrib, and Isha. Now, it is very important for us to know that how many rakats each of the prayer should have, okay, or how many rakats each prayer normally has. So when we talk about now rakats are basically the number of times that every time you stand up and then you bow down, and then we will be covering that actions in detail in a couple of in the next few lessons. But just for now, you need to remember the number of rakats for each prayer. So first of all, you have to remember their count, how many. Then you have to remember the names of the prayers, okay? And then you have to remember how many rakats each of the prayer has. So when we talk about Fajr, how many rakats the Fajr has? Can you see the number? 2, okay? So the Fajr has 2 rakats. Then comes the next prayer, which is Zohar. And when we talk about Zohar, we say the Zohar has 4 rakats. And the next prayer is Asr. So you know, every prayer is in order. It's not just you can read the first prayer after, and then the second prayer first. Every prayer has to be in order. So you read the Fajr first, and Fajr is 2 rakat. Then you read Zohar, which is 4 rakat. Asr, 4 again. Maghrib, 3 rakats, and Isha, 4 rakats. So just to remember it easily, there are 2 prayers which have different numbers, but there are 3 prayers which have the same number of rakats. Which ones are those which have the same number of rakats? Zohar has also 4 rakats, and then Asr has also 4 rakats, and then Isha has also 4 rakats. But Fajr also, although it is the toughest and the most tested prayer to wake up early in the morning, it's only 2 rakats. Isn't it quite amazing that you only have to do 2 rakats, but you have to wake up for that early in the morning? And then Maghrib is also 3 rakats, but then Fajr is the only namaz or prayer that you do on its own, but then you do Zohar Asr together, and then Maghrib Isha together. So make sure that you remember their number and their count as well for the next lesson. So, dear children, before going to the next week's quiz, I would just like to go through what we have done so far. I would just quickly go through or maybe we can do this quiz this week if you have got time, which we do have 5-10 minutes. So I think it's good if you just use the chat facility this time rather than using the unmute option, because I think then everybody starts talking together and then we won't be able to get the answer. So the first question is, start typing before even I say now. Okay, the first question, listen to it carefully. The question is, what does al-Khaliq mean? You know, we just covered that in the lesson, that the word al-Khaliq, what does it mean? So let's see who's the first, who has. Okay, the first question, the first answer was by Muhammad Shah, the creator. MashaAllah, very nice. So you answered straight away. And then Fawzia Hussain, Ilya Reza, Marzia Kazmi, Bas Naqvi, Sayyid Akif, Rahim Pasha, Farah Sadiq, Ali Waris, Muhammad Shah, Isbi Zaidi, MashaAllah, very nice name. Muhammad Jawad, Mansoor Rizvi, the creator, yes. But Sayyid Akif, is it your answer the next question? Oh, I haven't even asked that question yet, but I assume that you try to answer the next question. Okay, now the next question is, okay, that's, oh, by the way, that's correct. Al-Khaliq means the creator, mashallah. What does Al-Kareem mean? So I would say Sayyid Akif is the first one who said the generous, which is correct. Okay, and also Muntazir Mahdi, generous, correct. And some of them, I think they are catching up with the previous question. So basically that's correct. So what does Al-Khaliq mean? Al-Khaliq means the creator, and Al-Kareem means the generous. Yeah. Taj Shirazi, that's correct. The most generous, that's correct. He is the most generous. There is no one generous who can be more generous than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's a proper way of saying that, mashallah. Okay, third question is, how many prayers Muslims offer a day? Now I can see lots of answers which you have answered even before I asked the question, but that's absolutely fine, but I just have to scroll up to see. I think it's Alina Fatima who is the first one to answer. Yes, that's correct. There are 5 prayers that we should offer a day. And then we have Muhammad Shah, 5, that's correct. So 5 prayers, but total rakats. Muhammad Shah, you have told the total rakats of all the prayers. So you're good in your addition, I assume. You're an older kid. So you have just added up all the rakats of all the prayers that we should do in a day, which was a bit advanced question. I thought I would have added that to challenge some of the students, but you passed the challenge. That's great. Okay. And 5 Salah, Alina Fatma, that's correct. Well done. You have also right the answer of the next question as well, which was how many rakats each prayer has, correct? 2, 4, 4, 3, 4. MashaAllah, you're quite fast. Okay, is it you typing or your mom's typing or dad? That's nice. Okay, next is Al-Kareem, the motionless. Okay, I've answered that. Fajr is 2, Muhammad Shah, that's correct. Marzia Kazmi, generous. That's correct. And Al-Kareem means the most generous, which is who answered that? Yes, Zakaria Ali Sayyid. Fahim Pasha said most honors. Okay, good try. Ali Waris, the generous, correct. Sayyid Ali Raza Rizvi, Raza Zedi, sorry, 5. Sayyid Akif, 5 prayers a day. So Muslims pray 5 prayers a day. I mean, that's what we have covered so far, which is Fajr, Zohar, Asr, Maghrib, and Isha. And then the question was how many rakats each prayer has. So I just tried to make it a little bit tricky. Rather than saying that how many rakats are in total of all the prayers, I said how many rakats each prayer has. So when we talk about each prayer, I think there's one of the student who answered that, yeah, I think Alina Fatima, who said, who numbered them and then writing separately. So it was 2 for Fajr, and then Zohar 4, Asr 4, Maghrib 3, and then Isha was 4 as well. So mashallah, I am really pleased with your participation and your quick participation, quite even before me asking any questions, you answered them. So inshallah, dear children, this was all from today. What we learned, a quick reflection, just to look around yourself whenever you go outside. I know you can't go right now, but whenever you go outside, you go to the park or just look around. Even if you go to your garden, or even if you are in your house, the food that you eat or the water when you drink, always remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and also have this strong belief that these are all the things which are created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And He is such a generous, He is so generous that He gives us all these favors and blessings when sometimes we don't even listen to Him. Okay, so this makes us think that we should always listen to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in every condition and in every situation, because we believe that He is the most, He's Al-Kareem, and He is the Al-Khaliq, and also He is everywhere. So He's not like us that we can be at one place at a time and we cannot be somewhere else. Allah is just like the sunshine. He's just like the wind that blows in every direction and in everywhere. And air that we breathe in, we cannot see the air, but we can actually feel it. Okay. So similarly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is everywhere. He's here with us, and He will be even be with you when you will be hiding behind the curtains, and you'll try to play hide and seek. So don't ever think that Allah won't be following you if you will be hiding, just like those silly students in the Mrs. Leila's class, the story, Apple story that we covered. Okay, so dear children, that's all from today. I hope you must have learned a lot about our religion today. And I hope that you will be carrying out this activity too. There's a class dojo app, which I assume lots of parents have already joined. So those who haven't joined, please download the app Class Dojo and be part of the MUS online classroom reward system. It will mark your attendance and also the homework that we will be uploading. It will be easier for you to watch that and then be part of this system, collaboration system and communication system as well. Okay, so see you next week, Monday, or 6 o'clock. Khuda Hafiz from my side. Ma salam.